Welcome everyone to Autogefühl, your #1 resource for in-depth car reviews. Today with another world premiere here of the Opel or Vauxhall Astra, the 11th generation, the all-new model. And we're going to explain to you what has changed in the interior, the exterior, the technology. Well, and we cannot say anything about the driving experience yet, but I can promise you there are a lot of things to say already right now. Let's start here with the exterior in the front. You see it's not a revolution, rather an evolution. So you basically see, okay, it's an Opel or Vauxhall Astra. Hasn't changed so much. The headlights have become a lot sharper then. You see especially this curve is really way more. And you can see these ones are the halogen lights right now. There's also a full LED matrix light available now. It's not this one here, but it's optionally available then. What else do we see in the front? Some touching we've talked about. Do you see that one? This line, which is well, not looking that beautiful, but this is done to save insurance costs, because if you put the hood all the way in the front and you have a small front crash, everything would have been replaced. Now, then you just replace this one. So that's just a strategy behind that one. What they have done is to make the car appear a little bit broader. The horizontal fins here lead over on both sides into the headlights. Well, I've seen better solutions of that because it's also not like completely even, I think. But again, I think it's also an improvement in comparison to the predecessor version. Also, in the lower lines, the designer says they have created lines which flow all the way to the sides to, again, make the car appear a little bit broader. From the side profile, we can see something that is very special, and well, every other manufacturer is rather going in the other direction. Because in this case, with 4.37 meters in length, Opel is reducing the size of the car by 4.9 centimeters. That's how the car is actually shorter. However, they say it still offers more space in the interior because they've rebuilt the whole car. But I think it's a very remarkable aspect that the car has actually become shorter, so probably also more agile than in the city and better to find a parking space or something like that. Really interesting because also mentioned in a lot of recent reviews, usually all the cars are getting bigger. Then what else do we see in the side profile? These ones here are the 18-inch alloys. We got a separate alloy overview later in this video, so be sure also to check that one out. And this is actually the maximum size now. Before there was also 19-inch available, and they said, okay, that's enough. And I think, again, very interesting to do this kind of strategy to say, we don't want to be bigger, even bigger here with the alloys, with the car, even bigger engines. They really keep it quite simple than here. Then in the side profile, what else is remarkable? You see that the design dropping line is in height of the handlebars, which is quite unusual nowadays, and I think also a beautiful solution. And then the most remarkable part is here the C-pillar. There is obviously a C-pillar, but it is kind of hidden because the window line is going further with this black element to the rear window, and I think this is a solution that makes the car a little bit flatter just visually. It is a little bit flatter now than the predecessor, but this kind of optical visual trick here reduces the height even more. However, I think this kind of rear ending reminds me not just a little bit, but very much at the Mazda design, for example with the Mazda 3, and I'm not sure if they found a really own way there in this respect. However, the favorite part of this all-new car is the rear, at least in my opinion, because they have done some very special stuff here, especially with the very daring line, and you know, it's got all the way back in here again. Very sharp taillights here as well. They a little bit remind me of the Lexus NX we've recently shown you. They're just the other way around to form this Lexus L. Well, here they're not forming any Opel sign, but at least they look kind of spectacular. And the whole rear looks broader than before, and I really like the rear. Or do you? Let's take a look at the engine. This is a CDTI, Autogefühl electronic dampers check failed. There's no hydraulic damper to hold the engine up, so you have to actually do it manually. And let's do it right here. So what engines will be available? This one here is a CDTI, as I said, the 1.6 liter diesel. There's also a 1.6 liter petrol engine and a 1.4 liter petrol engine. And what is very much new, there will also be a 1.0 liter displacement petrol engine, 105 horsepower, a 3-cylinder. All other engines, as this one here right now, are 4 cylinders. And there's also this new 3-cylinder, which will probably consume just less. So as this car is smaller, also the wheelbase shrunk a little bit, 2.3 centimeters, and the whole weight actually shrunk as well. Not only because the car is shorter, also because the chassis have been built up totally. And so depending on which engine you pick and which kind of equipment inside, you have weight saving from 120 until 200 kilograms. And for a compact car, that's actually quite much. So we can expect this car to drive even more agile than the version before. And of course, weight savings also lead to reduction in fuel consumption. So let's get inside. The door handles make a very solid impression in general. And then there are the special seats in here. If you pick the Innovation or the Dynamic trim level, the two top trim levels. And then you can optionally pick the AGR seats. This is a special seat which is actually supposed to be very good, very back friendly. And you see this one is also the full leather equipment here now. As far as I know, the outside is artificial leather, the inside is the real leather. But I'll show you very soon there are also plenty of other options without leather. But just talking about the general form of the seats, I can take a seat in here and then test it, how it really performs. And Opel is really proud on that, and just the basic first impression is, well, they're actually not too big. You know, I'm 1.86 m and my shoulders go above the seats. Also, you see there's a lot of space in front of my knees, so not maybe the best one for very tall people. I will also test the other seats very soon. What else, especially with the seats, although they are the top comfortable seats, they save 10 kilos per seat from the weight. It's also very interesting. And there are a lot of functions here, 20 ways actually to adjust the seat. And there's also a massage function available here, and they also can be cooled, which is obviously very important for leather seats because, you know, real leather seats have just negative aspects with it. Just as besides killing animals, it's always getting hot, and so you also need vented seats then as an option. So what else is here in the cockpit? It's a very interesting new cockpit. We have less buttons than before, but as you can see that better, just starting with the steering wheel. See, it's a very compact steering wheel. Maybe too much buttons here still left on the steering wheel, I think. Just from the quality impression here, the sound they make, just listen to it. It's quite interesting. And in general, I think a solid impression of everything here. And then with the touchscreen, I'm not sure if there's any power on here now right now. No, it's obviously no power yet. Oh, there's something coming? Not sure. In general, with the touchscreen, we also show you other samples later. There are two touchscreens available, 7 and there it is, 7 and 8 inch. This one here is the top one with 8 inch. And you see it's cleverly integrated here, really. Better than most of the other manufacturers we've seen lately, so we don't have something really attached on there. Talking about that later as well again. And then let's just check how fast it's actually reacting. You can either use the buttons here, that is for example possible, or you can just use a touch. Let's see how it reacts. And you just go to home. Okay, this is the basic home screen. Let's check the GPS. Oh, that went actually quite fast. Obviously, we can also scroll in here. We're at Opel in Rüsselsheim in Germany. This is where the cars are also built. You see, this takes some time. It lags a little bit behind, but you can control it like an eye, but not too fast actually from the reaction times. But you see it here. But the general visual perspective is actually quite good already, I think. Then let's check out some other functions here. For example, there's also here, you see SMS and something like that. There will be this Opel OnStar system available. 12 months included after buying the car. After that, it will be optional, then you have to pay for it. Included in there are these additional services like an emergency call or just a hotline you can reach onto. And then there's also the smartphone integration available with all the current mirror link systems. But you have to, of course, pick the biggest touchscreen for that one. So let's see, maybe the radio. So in general, I think it's a big improvement, although I've seen better infotainment systems so far, I must say. Maybe take a look at the instruments here. They are rather classic, although they are very small, I must say. Kind of sporty, they go deep in there, and in the middle screen there will be the digital information then. What is quite nicely done, I think, is this chrome element, or actually this chrome style element that goes all the way through here. These shiny black elements, they catch some fingerprints and probably also scratches, but if they're clean, they also look quite good. What we realize is that a lot of hard black plastic is still used, even in this top. Well, this one is a little bit softer up here in the top trim, but everything else below that. Also at the inside of the doors, now also if we get in the lower parts, a lot of really hard black plastic. Just check the cup holders here. This is actually quite beautiful solution. They don't go too steep in here, though, I must say. And again, here, this material here they used, I would have expected a little bit more there, to be honest. And then here, the armrest, quite of small. And also if you see something like that, I think, well, it doesn't make a too good impression just from the first view. Of course, these were usually also USB, by the way, pre-production cars, but still, from a compact class competitor, we have also seen better so far. Manual transmission here right now, and what I was always saying is there's hardly any resistance. I think this is very well done here with the manual transmissions. It's somehow strange, but I think the Opel manual transmission, they make fun to shift. So that's my experience, and I think this will be the same case with that one here. Then let's get in the rear. You see this is a very interesting construct here with the C-pillar I've shown you before. And that one will be actually very interesting, how much space will actually be left here for my knees. And well, we're in a compact class segment and the car has become smaller, but for the case that has become smaller, my knees are still fitting quite in here. Also got some space, so I think this is just well done space-wise. Let's see how the headroom performs. I got this kind of space left above my head. If you would include another panoramic roof, this could be a problem actually, but then, as it is right now, actually no problem. And I think for a compact car, I'm really sitting quite comfortable here in the rear. Let's open the trunk. It's actually possible to open it right below here. Then, well, usually a problem of the compact cars is that you got quite high loading still. The same is here, but you see that's a lot of space going deep in here then. And we can also flip the seats. It's the 1/3, 2/3 split. And again, I must say, you can really see that although the car has become a little bit smaller, then of course no even loading still, because you got the space all going in there. I think the car is still kind of versatile for a compact car here, I guess. And they've used the space they have. They've really improved the space on the inside. And behind me you can see another color on the outside, the gray car. And also there's a different interior trim level, and you can check that out right now in our shots. And then there's also another interior special coming up. So everyone will buy the car in a different trim level, and actually we got them all right in here. This one is the selection trim level, a quite low one. And as you see here, these are the standard fabric seats here. Everything is kept kind of basic. See, still you got this kind of contrast just on the visual side. Then we look at the dashboard. This one is really plain hard black plastic and also doesn't look too good. And we don't have the new touchscreen here, or at least, well, it is not the newest, biggest one. It's just a small touchscreen, and it's not connected to now. It's just a model, but you see it is way smaller than the other one. And a basic climatization function so just warmer and colder, high and low. That's kind of it. Also, the steering wheel has a kind of simple material. So that's actually what you can expect when picking the selection trim level. Let's jump to the edition trim level. You see here we got bright seats. This is a variation you can actually pick, but in basically the seats remain the same. The biggest difference here is that we got a kind of different dashboard with also bright covers. They then fit to the seats actually here, and they also feel quite good. And then we have the bigger touchscreen in here now. It's all not connected, just all summer model here, and that you can really see how's the difference. And I think they have beautifully fitted it in here because, you know, recently there has been the discussion that, for example, Mercedes just put the screen kind of here and looks kind of attached. Here it is really integrated very well. Let's move up to the dynamic trim level. Here you can see these are really different seats. They get more shoulder support here, also feel more high class and have this imitated contrast stitches here. It's all fabric still. You see it's also another part here for the neck area. I think this is also visually very well done already. And then also the dashboard here got this shiny black surface in contrast to the aluminum style. Still the same new touchscreen we have here, and as we've already seen in the other trim level here we already got the 2-zone climate control. This is all fake here, just a model again, but you can basically see what is expecting to you visually. Contrast stitches here on the back of the shifting lever as well. And finally, let's look at innovation. What else difference is here? We got the same seats with more shoulder support, and then we got artificial leather on the outside to have an even surplus in the visual perspective. And then the rest of the front interior rather remains the same than dynamic. Of course, other features are always also included or not included, so the higher trim level you pick, the more is included, but of course you have to spend more money. And just another color variant. This is also the top innovation trim level here, but in this case in bright seats, fabric on the inside, and then this artificial leather here on the outside. So you can also pick this kind of color. And you see here we got a complete cockpit. Again, just a model in this case, but there you can see what is expected to you if you pick the innovation trim level with this kind of color setup. For example, you also see it here. It's kind of leather style, but still just like plain plastic here, but at least it's attractive as for the color. There will be a wide choice of alloys here, starting with the 15-inch steel. Doesn't look too pretty, of course, but then we can steadily move on. 16-inch steel, 16-inch, a little bit more design, 16-inch aluminum, 17-inch aluminum, and some different style with the 17-inch. And please just say in the comments, stop when you like one especially. And again, another 17-inch, different style. And then finally the B-color 18-inch. And well, I think for me it's quite obvious that this is the most beautiful one. However, you see, well, there's not much tire left, so you maybe lose a little bit of comfort. And also you see the alloy is not protected, so you can easily get some scratches here. If you pick, however, the 17-inch, you see it's also different from the tire here. This is very well done. You see the alloy sits a little bit inside the tire, and the tire is protecting it. When you get scratch on pavement or something like that, or entering points of a basement garage, this is a really clever solution just from the tire, that it's sitting a little bit inside. And with these four small models here, we can see which colors will be available. It's also very interesting to see, because one of the most important aspects of a car is often indeed the color. Which one would you pick? We present you right now, and you post it in the comments which one you would go for. This is here Snow White, then the blue, it's called Royal Blue, continuing over to Power Red, Argon Silver, Acer Blue. Well, I'm not sure if this is kind of something with blue. Not sure, maybe it's just a mistake. Then it's beige gray. Then diamond blue. This one will be very interesting, I think. The next one is bronze brown. Then a very interesting color as well, coconut brown, but I would never go for it, or would you? Then graphite black. Finally, platinum anthracite and smaragd green. Which one would you go for? And this is actually how it started with the Astra, not quite off. This is from 1997. The Astra has been here since 1991, before it was the Kadett. And you see how much of a difference we have here from this car and the current model. And going even further back, this is the Kadett A, the very Kadett A. And you see an even bigger difference here. Of course, this is the vintage car. And I think it's always nice to see where the car is actually coming from. Of course, these vintage cars were way smaller than most of the time. Here it's actually not such a huge difference in the size, but of course in the pure design. You see how the design has really changed dramatically over the decades. So that was our preview here from the world premiere of the new Opel or Vauxhall Astra. Really like to see your comments on the car, how you like the exterior and the interior, on all the technology stuff we've explained to you. Later on when we drive this car, we'll also talk more about the assistance systems, because one big change is now that you also got the sorts of assistance systems available right now in the new car. In general, what do I think? Well, I think it's a very good approach to say, okay, we don't make the car any bigger, we go the way backward, make it a little bit shorter again, better suitable even for the city, but at the same time, we check out that the interior actually is getting more versatile and you get more space on the interior. I think it's a very brave step they did actually, and a very good step. However, what I criticize a little bit is that the interior quality, even in the top trim, could be a little bit better, especially with the hard black plastic surface. We've seen better there in this case, but maybe they'll improve it over the years maybe. That's maybe one point I've already seen right now. In general, I'm looking forward to drive the car, of course, but for now, I've shown you also different interior trim levels. I would definitely go for the bright one. You see with the fabric seats and the bright one, because that gives us actually something special. And I think also the touchscreen, the top touchscreen has been integrated very well, that you've got a flat surface there and not this kind of huge screen attached there. That's also quite nice actually, although the infotainment software can also be updated a little bit in my opinion, maybe reacting not quite fast enough. So these ones were the first impressions here, first time we saw the car. I think the exterior also, not this kind of revolution, rather evolution. I really like it from the rear, and the front has, in my opinion, rather remained the same, not making such a difference, but definitely an improvement in comparison to the other car. And if you see where the car is actually coming from being a very conservative car, with just saying, okay, we built a very cheap car for everyone, this one is already now a very attractive compact car in general. By the way, entry price in Germany will be 17,000 euros, and with the 1.4 liter petrol engine. But also this new 1 liter displacement engine will be very interesting to drive, I think. So thank you very much again for watching Autogefühl, and we see us at the next premiere or the full review, whatever. I just hope to see you guys back.